Y'all already know what time it is. Let's get this straight. If the grandmas and the kids is in the house, take y'all punk ass to sleep. It's time. Y'all already know what time it is.
Grandma gonna be a punk.
Grandma can be a punk ass too. At the end of the day, y'all watching Girth, y'all. It's 9:00 on a Tuesday. We got the team. The crew is all here, y'all. Everybody is here. And to the left of me is none other than the one and only the big homie, the one we call Mr. Q Lewis.
What up? What up? What up? What up?
Where's applause? Where's his applause?
You already know what it is, man. It's your boy Q Lewis holding it down live from the 48205 Red Zone.
Red Zone, bang bang, bitch. Yep. And who you got next to you, Q?
Man, we got the motherfucking chef
in the building, y'all.
It ain't even Chef Whistle. This is motherfucking chef.
Right.
And I'm so mad that I missed the goddamn shrimp bread.
Shrimp bread.
It's that's the next week.
And the shrimp has shrimp in the bread.
What?
Hey, look, it's good to be back once again. We about to cook it up today.
Ooh,
this about to be hot.
Yes, hot.
For real.
Hey, motherfucking chef, who you got next to you?
Oh,
Motherfucking chef.
that Don. That Don.
The Don guy.
Don. He's a Don.
With the Darkwing Duck hat.
Yes.
You call it Don and Don and shit.
What up, though?
He's like,
How is everyone doing tonight?
He's an intellectual thug.
Mr. Snipes.
Mr. Snipes.
It's the Joe Budden look, dog. I'm telling you.
Joe Budden?
I fuck with Joe Budden heavy,
This
though.
Don Snipes. I know Joe Budden. He like wear his skull caps. You know, this the Don
Facts.
Snipes.
You right. You right. Facts.
Don be getting them hats. He be like, look, baby. So
That West Side Detroit.
we gotta give up the
That's what it is.
You get shout out to Fifi. She not here today because her airplane couldn't land because of high fog. Hey
What's up,
Fifi.
Fifi?
What up, though?
Tomorrow is her
Birthday
motherfucking
girl.
birthday party.
Yes.
At Comfort Zone. So
Yeah, we down at Comfort Zone tomorrow.
We down at
I'm
Comfort Zone
coming down.
tomorrow.
For sure.
We can for sure. And we got a new member to the podcasting family. And we in WGOD studios right now. But Mr. Joe Spraglin is with us, y'all.
All right, now.
What up, Joe?
Is it Spraggin or Spraglin?
What's going on, family?
What's your last name?
Spraggins.
Spraggins. That sounds like a new football player that got drafted. Mr. Joe Spraggin.
If you say so.
Okay. Oh, y'all, we can't forget. We got the sexiest bartender, y'all. Give it up for Medina, goddammit.
Yeah.
Let's give it up for Medina,
What up,
y'all.
though? It's been a minute, too.
Ooh, been a minute. Medina got some heels on, y'all. She got them come do me shoes.
Yes.
She,
Them ain't kidding.
we got the shoe cam. We got the shoe cam.
Hey, I told you got to get some. You got to get a
Look at that.
She got a little mud on her stilettos.
Yes.
Mud on her stilettos. That's a new record,
And she
y'all.
can still put one leg up on the hill, though.
Yeah, she was one leg
that's
up.
all.
I don't know. Look at them damn calves. She done stole them from the halal market.
You a calf man, Miles? You a calf man?
I'm a woman's man. Whatever's thick on the woman, that's what I want.
Okay. Sometimes if they neck a little too thick.
Not the neck, but jaws of throat. But either they jaws or draws. I'm cool with it.
Hey, fuck all that. Shout out to all the women with thick necks, bro. They not for me, but I'm just saying shout out to y'all.
I take that back. Shout out to the one with a thick neck that like to get choked from the back. You know what I'm saying? Like, some women like that
You gotta use
pressure.
both hands.
Miss,
we back like a motherfucker.
Miss Engineer, I want to know, can you cut my headphone setup? That should be number 5. Number 5 alive. Remember that? Remember the 5 alive shit? Short circuit. Where's the short circuit?
Oh, damn, it is short circuit.
You cut me down.
Number 5 alive.
You can look at me all you want to. They can still hear me. And Nikki, hey, look, Nicole came in here, dog.
Oh, she done cut your shit off. Like, fuck what you saying, man.
That's okay. I can be heard through all walls.
Miles, you do know that that's a Scorpio woman.
Who? She ain't no damn Scorpio woman.
Oh, my fault.
Don't say my fault. I fucked that up.
When's your birthday?
When's your birthday, Nicole?
June 24th.
June
You a
24th.
Cancer?
Couple weeks.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Cancer?
She a cancer.
But she got
just missed being in the gym. Now.
She
I'm
got
so sorry.
She
I'll
got
take that back.
Right. She got a Scorpio stripper ponytail in though.
You know what?
Shout out to
Hey,
the.
what's your stripper name?
She a cancer with some Scorpio tendencies. Then that's how I feel. She got some Scorpio tendencies.
She definitely got Scorpio tendencies. She look like she'll be stripping and wearing Timbos though. Like she be got Timberlands on when she's stripping. Y'all should have seen.
Nicole be
The high heel.
having that I'm sensual look.
Yes.
She have that I'm shy, but I'm not shy look.
She got
You know
no.
what
She
I'm saying?
got
Lipstick is
that.
definitely saying that right now.
Yeah,
The lipstick is definitely saying that right now.
It's like I'm shy.
Commercial.
No, I'm not.
Nicole got that.
This is not a Nicole show right now.
You're right, but
It is right now.
you
I
wanna-
gotta put my glasses
No, I was
on.
like, I put his glasses on.
Lips is-
Nicole got that. I'm a
so
shy. I'm a shy, but I'll break your back, nigga. Look. All right, that's enough. We gonna let that shit go. Welcome, hey, y'all. Welcome to Girth. We just glad that the whole crew is back. Medina is back. We got the drinks. We got a new member to the team. We got Jameson and Hennessy popping off today. I don't know how the hell I'm gonna get home. I might even catch an Uber and leave my car here. That's what the fuck is gonna happen. So today's topic is. Let me say this right. Who the fuck raised you?
Nah, Q gotta say that.
Okay, well, Q.
Why I gotta say it?
Cause you know what happened this morning. Go
No,
ahead.
I mean we're just having a conversation. That's what we want to know, dog. Who the fuck raised you, dog?
See,
There you go. He said it right. He said,
You see people, dog, and they do shit, and you just really be looking like, man, who the fuck raised you, dog? And that's what we want to talk about today, dog. And really, it was a dog ass question, because they actually asked me that, and I never really thought about the answer to that. So I think it's gonna be a dog conversation. Though. I'm ready for it.
So I wrote a little something down. If you know
of course,
how I
we
get
know
down
you
to-
wrote it down. We
That's
know
why
you
we have
did.
to have you in the studio. Not sound like
Okay.
R2D2 on the phone and shit.
So I say it again, Q. Because that's my segue into
Who the fuck raised you?
Go.
did your dad, your mom, and all their mistakes, did your streets, or how about your hurts and mistakes over the years? Or maybe it was just some bad advice from a friend or family member, or did you raise yourself?
Okay. I thought he was gonna bust a damn verse. That's what I thought he was
I
gonna
was about to bust. I was ready though.
do. He was like this. Did your dad, your mom? He
Yeah, I do that on the remix and shit.
Yeah, there's a
So,
remix.
When I set up today and I thought about it, well, we totally switched the topic for today, but that was so powerful. And the first thing you come in contact with is your mom and dad. So whether young parents, right, did they raise you with their mistakes and never come back years later and say, hey, look, I told you some things. I was a little young, immature back then. But it's okay to trust. It's okay to love. It's okay not to be treacherous.
Right.
Right? So mom and dad came to me first. And sometimes when we get out here, it comes from home. It does. It comes from home.
Right.
And sometimes your parents are a little young and maybe they're not showing any accountability. So, I just like to start there in this. If you guys have anything to add to that going around the table, let me know your thoughts on that.
Oh, I just want to piggyback on that because we had something similar on our show a few days ago. We was talking about
Define our show because you just said our show. Tell the people what damn show you talking about. Q.
I'm talking about the Wake and Bake show every Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning
On
10
eBlock.
a.m. on eblockradio.com.
Bang bang gang gang bitch.
You know what I'm
Go
saying?
ahead.
But the conversation then was like how much of your upbringing can you blame on your bad decisions and shit, right? So that was the thing, and I was telling Angry Man about that. It's just like at some point though, some of these parents got to like keep it real and tell you like I fucked up. Like I fucked up with some of these decisions, some of these ways that I raised you. Like it was a mistake. At some point, some of these parents got to actually be accountable. And like he looked at it a different way. And I ain't saying that as an adult you make fucked up decisions, you get to blame everything. But as a parent though, you got to be accountable for some of these fucked up decisions you done made as a parent because all parents make them. Nobody is a perfect parent.
And Q, I agree with you. And just because you're a parent don't make you right.
Ooh,
Facts.
that part.
Facts. A lot of parents don't even know that. That was time for applause right there.
They put that in there.
That was time for applause right there. I ain't gonna lie.
And see, a lot of parents take that on just because I'm mom and dad. I'm right. Go sit your down.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And that's
the
bullshit.
truth of the matter is, some of the kids are wiser than the parents, and
Facts.
you should be listening to them. You know,
Right, no,
absolutely.
Well, I mean, if you're a
mean,
dumb
when
man,
you say it, you say it,
but sometimes here's the thing, and you are right to a certain degree where a lot of children, a lot of kids, or I'm gonna say teenagers, because I'd be damned if my 5-year-old smarter than me. But I would say that sometimes teenagers will say something that holds some wisdom, but also it doesn't make you per se wrong because you had good intent behind it. You feel me?
Right.
Sometimes your intentions are good, but maybe the way you came across was wrong.
True.
You feel me? So, and sometimes, like I said, I'm not a good good person to argue with because I get tongue tied. You know what I mean? I might say shit. Well, God damn it, the donuts ate the cupcakes. and you be like, what the hell he say? And it only be because I be upset. And some things we say things while we trying to quickly say something and we mad. We don't really necessarily mean, and it do come off stupid sometimes. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure we all had that stupid moment. Like we said some shit, you're like, what the fuck I say that for? You know what I mean?
Words come out before you can think about it.
And so I do agree that sometimes our teenagers can say something that makes more sense than us at the same time, but our intentions was different. You know what I mean? If we say, she be like, they be like, Dad, you ain't had to talk to me like that. Well, motherfucker, you might be right, but if the garbage was taken out when I told you, you took it out, nothing would have been said.
Right.
Right. So Don looking like, I have a different opinion about that. So Don,
I thought that was him saying that shit. Like, huh?
But no,
you know, I guess what I wanted to add to that was when I think back to my girls, one of the things that I was big on was just simply coming back and making sure that I apologized immediately if I did.
Oh, that's dope
shit.
as hell.
Absolutely.
And reason being, again, and we talked about this last week, there are a lot of people out here nowadays. We're living in a culture where people just don't want to apologize. You know, right. we always hear this word about accountability and responsibility, taking accountability for your own shit. But like, let's start at the basics. Learn how to fucking apologize to somebody. You know what I'm saying? And I think that for me, how do you? It's somebody asked me one day. They said, "Listen, parents all the time they tell their kids shit that they don't even really understand the depth of it." And one example was, your kid come home from school and it's just like, "Hey, what you doing right now? Go do your homework." Okay, yeah. Well, parents might say that, but what does that look like? What does that entail? You understand what I'm saying? So how can I raise someone? Or instill in them the value of knowing how to correct your mistakes if it don't start with me. So that would be my thing. Like if I said some dumb shit to him and I went in the room or I was sitting there and I'm thinking about it, I'm like, all right, but I gotta let me correct this.
What's some of the dumbest shit you ever said though to your child? I want to know.
You know what?
You had to apologize for.
I didn't necessarily. You know what? One incident come to mind. I was mad because my oldest daughter, she had started missing a lot of assignments, just missing her homework, and I'm like, yo, did you turn this shit in? And she like, no. I'm like, why? She like, well, it wasn't all the way complete. So I said, wait a minute. I'm like, you mean to tell me you missing about 10 fucking assignments, but they all were half complete? Right. So you just said, fuck it? So I blew a gasket. You know what I'm saying? So I done pulled over in the car and I'm smashing on the dashboard. I done punched the damn windshield, right? I'm heated, right? After all that shit, I was sitting there and I said, Dom, that was a piss poor ass example of showing her how to handle your emotions. You know what I mean? I'm heated. I'm in the car. Oh, fuck you, man. Turn in the shit. I'm heated.
Right.
But again, I had to bring it down, you know what I'm saying, and come back and say, hey, listen, moving forward, do this. Because another thing that I've been learning as the older I get is having conversations with somebody that are resolution based.
Yeah.
Fuck having a conversation with somebody where they just bitching and
have a
complaining.
conversation.
Let's
Right.
have a conversation.
Absolutely.
Like if
It's
we
a-
talking, do you have any type of inclination about a resolution with some
Right.
shit? And if
Absolutely.
not, let's have a conversation walking in that direction.
Right.
I get frustrated having a conversation with people where it's just a bunch of
talking.
bitching and complaining.
Yeah.
I can't handle
I feel
it.
you. That's real shit.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, my daughter 9, right? So the dumbest shit I just said since she been 9. I said, where your phone? She said, I don't know. I said, why you don't know where your phone at? She said, I don't know. And then I was like, why? And then similar, here's some shit like, why in the hell you don't know where the fucking phone at, right? She's like, I don't know, but why you mad? I was like, that little motherfucker. I was like, she right. Why am I mad because
Right,
she
man, right.
don't have her phone? So we do say some dumb shit. And we got to really, I'm pissed off all over again. Q, what's some of the dumbest shit you don't have children,
I ain't got no kids, so.
but what's the dumbest shit you seen somebody say?
I think for me, I think it's sort of like what Don was saying. I've seen, especially, damn, I hate saying this shit because
Don't say
sometimes
their names.
No, I ain't saying the names. But I'm
Okay.
saying I've seen this a lot with single mamas, right?
Okay.
Where like they honestly, I don't want to say they because it's put in a broad scope, but some of the ones that I've experienced, they really don't know how to communicate to their kids. Like it's a way to tell a kid to do something without fucking screaming and like trying to kill him and shit.
Absolutely.
Like I've heard women talk to like 5 or 6 year old kids like a grown ass man.
Right.
And
Little
and so
boys
it-
especially. I'm glad you
Especially
said
little
that. They
boys.
try to emasculate them.
a straight grown ass man.
I give him a look. I give him a look.
You got to do something. You can't really, yeah, because like, and then,
Younger than that, 3, 4.
yeah, like a grown ass man. Exactly.
Right.
So then
Especially
that communication with women is gonna always be fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So and
maybe
it's hard.
say-
It's tough for me because I be in situations where I say something and my man come back is I ain't got no kids. I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do how you want to do it. Shit. I don't think you gotta know how. I don't think you gotta have kids to know that you should communicate with kids a certain way.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Communication is communication.
And again, trust me, I know that some of these kids growing up in some tough situations. So yeah, I ain't saying be soft on their ass, but damn, don't talk to them like he's 35 with
Right.
a drinking problem. And shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I seen people go off on their child and they still in the car seat. You know what I mean? Why the fuck you throwing up all over the
don't
place?
even know what you're saying. Right?
But the kids grow up and they disrespect them, and then they wonder why they being disrespected.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Facts.
In case you don't know, Medina said the kids say something.
Microphone today.
Yeah. Because we ain't got no microphone to reach your ass, Medina.
I got to get you one of them little
With lavaliers or something.
Yeah.
Medina, say that one more time. She forgot. Oh,
She said then the kids grow up to be disrespectful.
Respectful. And then they wondering why.
because you cussing at them.
Absolutely.
No,
Never gave them any respect.
and I'm gonna tell you something. It was a situation with my godson. His ass said something like, because he used to get his ass whooped because he lied, right? So he came to his mama one day to Melissa like, "Mom, is there such thing as the tooth fairy?" She's like, "No, you ain't no such thing for me." He said, such and something about the Easter Bunny. He said, "Yeah, ain't no Easter Bunny." He said, "So you with me for when I was lying, but you lied to me."
Wow.
I was sitting there, I was like, I just backed up.
Right. Yeah, I'm not even in that conversation.
But that, it's real. We be lying
Like, you lied.
we lie to our children too in the beginning. You know what I mean? And wonder why they lie.
But what about when you don't disclose something to your kids and they're just around and something opens up in front of them
Yeah.
and
What?
they ask you about it?
Oh, like a vibrator box?
Stripper pole.
No.
Like I was having a conversation with a friend, an innocent conversation in front of her, and he called a white person a hunky.
Okay.
And I'm not paying any attention to it because I'm grown. This is how we
You just
talk.
having a conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but when we got in the car, she was like, "Gigi, what's a hunky?" So now I'm forced to tell her, what a hunky was when I really wasn't trying to.
Did you tell her the real root of hunky, or did you tell her a white person?
No, I told her that I told her that, but then I told her the real reason.
Where it come from, like white men hunk in the car. Okay. You did better than me. I wouldn't have been able to explain that. I would have said, baby, they white. That's
Right. It's like the same thing as a cracker. You know what a cracker is.
You know what a cracker
You
is.
know what a cracker is, right?
It's
So-
a term for white people.
Okay.
And then I told her where it came from.
It actually is. Actually, it's not a derogatory. Here's the thing I told people: hunky and cracker is not derogatory. And the reason why nigga is derogatory because hunky
whip cracker,
right? Because hunky was what the black whores used to call white folks. Like, hey, the hunky outside because that's what white folks. They had cars. Niggas rode up on horses. But white folks had cars. They hunk the horn, and so they say the hunky is here, right? Now. And so cracker come from the crack of the whip, right?
Crack of the whip, yeah.
So those more like damn the terms of endearment. You know what I mean? Nigga is
not
like
really yeah, I guess
it's not derogatory, but niggas, that's derogatory. Coming from a white person, that's derogatory. Rednecks, they call themselves rednecks, crackers, and hunkies. Go ahead, Don. He got his intellectual smirk on.
I mean,
No, look, I just not to change the mood.
That's because you light skinned. You about to say some shit. Go ahead.
No,
I said no.
I had a real interesting meditation the other day, and I was thinking about how, and I'm just going to use Detroit. There's a lot of people in Detroit, especially that maybe closer to 50 and up crowd that went to Catholic schools. Okay,
Sure.
and I say this to say, okay, again, our subject is who raised you. Here's the deal. A lot of this whole, beating and punishment and kind of get you in alignment, all that kind of shit, it kind of really stems from Catholicism and the Catholics and a lot of their views and values that were placed upon us. All right. And what really kind of, I'm going to bring this full circle. We started off talking about the children, but there was back in between 1960 and 1999 in Ireland, you had these schools called mother and baby schools. All right. And what these schools were, now this was from 1960 to 1999. These schools were for any woman who had a child out of wedlock. Wow. I'm going to tell you how crazy this shit was. The nuns ran these schools. There were two in particular, okay? One in a place, Tom, Ireland, another one, Bosselberg. I may not be pronouncing that right, but needless to say, around 1999 and even more recently, they found 800 babies up under one spot, all right? And they found 900 in another. And let me tell you what they were doing. Back in the 60s, if you had a child out of wedlock, a lot of the European spots, it was hard to adopt children. But Ireland led the world with being able to have the highest adoption rate. Well, that's because most of Ireland, they were Catholics. They had these schools that were ran by the nuns. But dig this: say a young boy came to the priest, his parents, and he said, "Hey, look, I think I got such and such pregnant." They say, "Well, you need to go confess your sins to the priest." The boy would go tell the priest, "Hey, I did such and such. Okay, this and that." But the priest would go behind their back and go tell the nuns. The nuns then would go to the door and say, "Hey,
drag them up out
she got to." And this is what they did.
Wow.
It was a minimum of 3 years that they made them stay there, and they would torture them and beat them and everything else, and tell them, "Hey, this is your punishment. God is punishing you." Okay. Yeah. Now, I say all this to say this when it comes to this who raised you stuff. A lot of the values that older generation had and had passed down to us in some instances, and we've talked about this before, it was more or less of this kind of ideology of I'm gonna whip your ass first and follow up with the questions and asking shit later. Because pretty much after I said what I said, ain't shit else to talk about. And I feel like, you have guys that lack, you know what I'm saying, men and women that lack, being able to, or them having someone in their life that really was able to give them some standards, some morals, and some values. And now, shit, they passing that shit down to other folks, and this shit is just ridiculous. You see it all the time with some of these young guys in the neighborhoods, just the way they act. You almost got, like you said, ask yourself, where y'all get this from?
No, for real.
Listen, children
Serious
go
question.
by what they see and not what you say.
And I agree with you 100%. And that just takes us back to who raised you. Was it your mother and father's mistakes? So you made a very valid point there. What you see. So if you're out here being ratchet, your kids are watching you.
Yeah.
Right? And when they've given the opportunity, they're going to do what you show them. Mm-hmm. So that's when I said that your parents and all their mistakes, right?
Right.
And that's where that comes from. So I agree with you 100%. So we can move on.
I mean, the crazy thing about it, some parents, though, they don't even realize that these was mistakes.
Right.
Because it was passed down from
Generation.
Hey, some of them don't
generational mindset, right? Their mother or grandmother did it to them, they did it to their kids, and that's just how it works, and that's what we do. Right.
Is that I turned out okay.
Yeah, you would be okay too.
You're not okay.
But you're not okay for real, right? Exactly.
That's a good. That's a good one. So listen, y'all. We got Latina Loud. She say facts. Shizba say wow. To hear y'all's she's so sad. To hear y'all's insight and perspective. Awesome. First time I caught the session with Shizba. We here every Tuesday, baby, 9:00. The show is called Girth with the Twisted Line.
And we back in this thing.
And we back in this thing. We doing a shout out to Richard. He's watching this too, y'all. So we acknowledge the people who watch us because we really appreciate y'all. And a lot of times to see 4 black men talk and we're not arguing, we're not debating with each other, and we have understanding because I have a new theory in life. Say I don't know shit, I just understand a lot, and it's only because you never. Once you stop learning stuff, you kind of fooling yourself. You feel me?
Absolutely.
You have to be open minded to other people's perspectives and how they look at things because it might open your damn brain. So, that's what we're here for. Hold on. Motherfucking chef. You was about to say something.
Yeah, so just moving on. So, and I think most kids are pretty intelligent, right? So, one or two things happen out of the homes. Either you realize that your mom and dad just not there, or they really not there. So, it goes on to the next one I wrote, or did the streets. Because sometimes you may have a single parent and she's just gone all the time, or he's gone all the time. Mm-hmm. So then what do you learn from the streets? You learn about sex, everything from locker room. So at this point, did the streets, they raise you?
Yeah.
Right? Because I think a lot of us can relate to that. I got friends that the streets just raised them.
Yeah.
I had a couple friends that their parents worked for the big 3. Both of them did, so they were never at home.
Right.
Great providers, but
they failed as parents.
Yeah, negligent.
I will admit this. I don't look at the streets raise nobody. You know what I mean, Chef? But I will say like this: I've been on my own since I was 16, so I think the streets embrace you. You know what I mean? And when I say, the reason I say embrace you because a lot of times people look towards people who's how can I say this? Because I'm not as intelligent as y'all 3. I'm just saying that when I got caught up in the streets, I wasn't a thug type. You know what I mean? I wasn't doing reckless things. You know what I mean? But my friends were straight thugs. Some of them were straight killers. You know what I mean? And they would say, hey, dog, this ain't the part of life you want to be about. You know what I mean? You in the music. Stay in your music. Whatever it takes for you to stay in your music, I would help you. You know what I mean? And they kept me away from the reckless part. You know what I mean? And they helped me then break. But
so they did raise you.
No, they didn't raise
you.
No, they raised my they raised my awareness.
Because that's what parents do. They're supposed to protect you,
and
shield you for certain things. So, when you said the streets embrace me, that's what a parent is supposed to do, and they shelter you for certain things.
Okay.
Right? So, when I said it, not in a reckless way.
Right. Okay, I understand.
But you did get a certain amount of knowledge.
Oh yeah.
So you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I learned how to roll a blunt and everything, and I didn't even smoke. No, I'm just joking.
Hey, why you joking?
Right.
My mom one day, and again, some. Part of the streets, a part of my childhood, rather, there was a time where, I allowed the streets, for me to be, as Miles would say, I'm going to look at it a little bit differently as well. My mom was around, but she sheltered me, and it made me feel like I wasn't as tough and rough as the guys that was in the neighborhood.
Right.
So I kind of had a little chip on my shoulder where I felt like I had something to prove.
Yeah.
And because I felt like I had something to prove, that gave me motive and incentive to go hang with what's the name then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Craig.
He's at them.
Till one day, all right,
You realize the shit wasn't for you.
well, my mom, you know, she, I miss my mom. I love my mom, but my homeboy came over and he had a little eighth of cocaine, crack rock. Okay, he chopped it up on the plate and he left it downstairs in the basement. So my mom, she get home and she go downstairs to wash the clothes, and she said, Don. She said, bring your ass here. So I go to the cell. I'm like, oh, shit.
What's wrong?
She said, she holding the plate. She said, is this your plate?
I'm like, I ain't never
She
seen
said,
this.
look, we only going to have this conversation
One time.
Right.
If I find out you're doing this, I'm going to kill your ass. Now, here's the deal. I believed her, you know what I'm saying? But mind you, I still was trying to do my thing on the low. So till one day, dude gave me a whole little sack. And I called myself, oh, man, I'm about to be out here, you know, slanging and hustling like everybody else.
Dino Brown
and a crackhead told me come around the corner and serve. Now he worked at a school. He was a janitor around the school, but he was the guy that copped for everybody else.
I think you just told him
So
somebody.
when I get to the garage, he tell me come on in, and when I get in,
He done robbed your ass.
he closed the garage door, and it was like, I'll never forget this. It was 2 crates and a Marvin Gaye record on top. He said, man, let me see what you got. Set it right there. Man, I set it down. He tripped. The lights went out. All right. So I hear all this moving around. Boom. Lights come back on.
Yeah, 4 crackheads
Listen,
smoking.
he put 3 up, and he put 3 back and say, man, I'm just going to get these 2. So he take the 2. I take the 3. I get home. I wake up. It was so. It melted, right? Yeah. So now, when I wake up and mind you, I'm young, so I wake up. I'm like, wait, I don't think this supposed to look like this. So I called the dude, gave it to me. He like, oh yeah, they got you. And he looked dead at me and was like, they got you. You gonna have to go collect on that. Instead of getting 2, they got 5.
Right.
I'm like, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? You know what I'm saying? That wasn't a really pleasant experience.
You like, excuse me, Mr. Janitor Man.
I ain't talk like this back in the day. You know what I'm saying? I ain't talk like this.
Now if you want to get them rocks back, then you can.
No.
Hey,
you got to go whoop his ass and shit.
I had got robbed, right? And it was funny speaking about who raised you, right? The guy pointed the gun at me because I never got robbed before, right? So I got like 4 bags with me, you know what I mean? My homeboy carrying my other 2 bags. He was like, dog, you understand I got a gun on you? Who the fuck raised you? Give me your shit. I'm like, do I supposed to just give him up my shit? then he click that gun like, click. I'm like, there you go.
You're supposed to give
I
that
said,
shit.
my mama raised a better man than that. There you go. But for real, he was like, nigga, who raised you? Like, you a fool. I got a gun on you telling you give me your shit and you not?
Yeah.
So I want to go back on your story though, Don. But I'm curious though now, cause like now I'm wondering how many niggas end up in the street for real trying to prove.
Oh, a lot.
You know what I'm saying? Cause like you saying basically like you felt like, all right, I ain't as rough as these niggas, so let me prove that shit. I wonder how many niggas
again.
end
I felt
up.
it was this thing where. Put it this way, and Miles, believe it or not, you and I had a conversation like this years ago, and you said something that kind of struck a nerve, and for whatever reason, now that we're having this conversation again, it just came back to me. But I just say that to say that nobody wants to be the ostrich. Nobody wants to be the oddball.
Thanks.
You feel me? Here's the reality.
Yeah.
I always was the fucking oddball, but this is where being raised by people that understand that and can teach you about how to love yourself. Because had somebody been telling me that, I wouldn't have gave 2 fucks about what they thought of me.
Right.
But the fact that everybody else was doing this, and Don was the dude, like, oh man, I'm gonna go to school. I'm scared to skip because I might get a whooping or shit. I'm doing all my homework.
Right.
I got talked about.
Right.
You get what I'm? And that's retarded. It's retarded to feel like I'm being ostracized because I'm doing what the fuck I'm supposed to do.
Right.
But believe it or not, peer pressure is a motherfucker.
Yeah.
So that's
or
the
at this
truth.
At this point, not even what you're supposed to do, but what you want to do.
Absolutely.
So like that's the thing too, though. It's just like being able to have that freedom to do what you want to do it's some shit that we take for granted.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't do what they want to do because they scared of like the consequences or
Absolutely.
what people would think. That shit. Once you get older, you find out how weak as hell that shit is.
It's weak as hell.
But as a kid, though, it's like,
Can I just say something, Chef, before you go? I want to say something. The peer pressure is on because motherfucking Chef walked in here with a tank top with his muscles out and shit, and I'm sitting up here looking. I got
so the peer pressure's on.
peer pressure's on, and I'm sitting up here, my titties touching my stomach, and I feel Shout out to Chef to make me want to go to the gym fucking tomorrow morning.
No, Don made me want to come to the gym. Shows ago, he was coming in. I said, man, you know, I'm about to hit the
I
gym.
ain't even fucking with Don because Don built like a superhero.
Yeah, he on some other stuff. But you know what? I had a question for you, Don.
Yeah.
See, because we all look at things differently, right? So the way I've seen this whole thing, like, was your dad around? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. So
he was around, but he was around when him and my mom were on good terms.
And this goes out to a lot.
So he wasn't around consistently. He was around, but it wasn't consistent, unfortunately. Yeah.
And much like myself. So, and this goes out to a lot of single parents. If you're a mom and you have a son, and you're giving a nurturing side, that's cool, right?
Right.
But that young man is looking for a balance. So when he goes to the streets, he's looking for that balance that he does not have there with the male being in the household. So like you said earlier, sometimes you could be around the rest of the guys. If their father's around, you notice your conversation is a little bit different, right? Because dad, like right now, we put our kids up on game, right?
All day.
All day, yeah.
Right, just straight to the point. No chaser, right? Mom going to code it a little bit, baby him.
Yeah.
So you kind of notice that. So just for like a lot of single moms with sons, you know, get them into some type of mentor program, something, because they need a balance.
Yeah.
And if you don't provide it, they're going to go out and seek it for themselves. And that's the part you get from the streets, because deep down inside, you, as a child, you don't realize it, but you're really looking for that balance.
And that's the part where I got what Miles said, the embracing aspect of it, because, you know, people look at me now and, you know, they kind of hear how I talk, or kind of, you know, they follow me in terms of my acting career, and I'm into the arts and all that other kind of shit. But the truth of the matter is, if I was, you know, most of the time, you know, I don't even bring up, you know, hey, I used to sell weed. I had my time when I was younger where I was getting in trouble. I had my time where I thought, you know, I was gonna be one of them dudes on the corner selling crack.
Right.
Okay, and I had my little time where I thought, oh man, this is cool. I'm gonna sell ecstasy. Nobody even believed me. And guess what? I've learned as I got older, I don't even care, because at the end of the day, it doesn't give me any bonus points or this badge of honor to wear that type of shit on my sleeve. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I've run into dudes like that where it's just like, oh man, I remember back in the day I used to be having them, I used to be doing it, but who gives a fuck? You understand what I'm saying? Like what are you doing with your life right now? That's being impactful to not only yourself but those that are around you. So I don't. Back when I was younger, I probably would have cared if somebody was like, yo, he L7, he square this and that. I don't give a fuck now because of what you guys just said. Like, I'm comfortable with the skin that I'm in. But the part that would have fostered that a lot faster is, like you said, had I had a man in my life that understood the importance of that. Because again, sorry, single mothers. Yes, you can raise a child, but I firmly believe that it takes a man to raise a man.
Yeah,
and that's just it. I'm not about to change that aspect of my thoughts on that, because again, we wire different, we think different, we experience life in a total different way than what you do. Yeah, and you won't understand that. Just like I won't understand what it's like to have a period or get emotional about some dick. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just being straight up. Y'all laughing.
No, that's facts though.
I can know the purpose why they got emotional about it, though. I couldn't really understand.
So I think, like this morning, I don't know if this originated from, and I always said this, you know, parents, do your job before you release your kids on the streets, right? To society, right?
Yes. Because
I think that originated from maybe dealing with people in relationships or something like that earlier. And you get to a point like, who raised you? You're like, what? Where did you get this mindset from, right?
True.
So
the ones that don't like to listen, though, Fred.
You said what? The
The
grown
kids.
people?
Listen.
Oh, yeah, the grown people?
Man, listen.
Well, kids.
Grown people and kids. So
Right.
that
That
Should
shit
was-
learn behavior.
I was just about to say that.
Facts, yeah.
So sometimes we had talked about on the show about mental health and how they hide that in families, right? So a lot of this, I agree with you. They don't want to listen because that's some passed on generational stuff.
Yeah.
You can go to a family reunion, right? And you be like, this where this come from, right?
where this shit come
Seriously.
from. Yes.
And just that
Right,
quick,
yeah.
you really be like,
And, you,
this, honestly, they think they right.
and the best eye opener, I ain't gonna lie. People want to hate on him, but Tyler Perry opened up eyes to a lot of shit that goes on in black families. For real, I'm talking about from what you just said. Like when he had that family reunion and he was showing the lady that he like, go ahead and reach down there and give me a cold pop.
Yeah,
right?
reach all the way down.
Right. But that shows the mannerisms of people, and then how the young men would get into that mindset when they get older too, because
All of that shit.
a lot of times our freakish behavior comes from what we seen.
Absolutely.
For real, off the rip. Our freakish behavior comes from what we seen, not what we heard or not what we read about. It's what we seen,
And I agree with
and we seen that in our households.
Right.
You feel me?
That right there.
And the problem comes in, like I told my friend a while ago. She was a good friend of mine. She was a real good friend of mine.
Sheesh.
I'm sorry.
Miss her, huh?
I had to say that. I kind of.
Obviously.
But she said, why I can't wear what I want to wear? I'm grown. I said, because you have a 4-year-old daughter. And she's watching you do this.
That right there.
But honestly, and it's so deep. Once her daughter became a particular age, she let her daughter be with me all the time.
Wow.
Because she knew how I thought. You feel me? And that's my baby. It's like I love her to death. And we had this relationship like before she had a relationship with her father, she had a relationship with me. You feel me? And she was like, I can't wear that around my Uncle Doc. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I
she
mean?
know better.
And if I tell her I was coming to that event, she'll be
know
dressed.
how to dress.
Yes.
Yeah. Facts.
And
Yeah,
it's
I
deep.
feel
Like if I right now, if I say I'm coming to your event, she would literally have something else to wear by the time I get there. And it's crazy. And I had to tell her when she got older, like, baby, you grown now. You don't have to do that. You know what I mean?
That part right there just goes to show you how important like the male influence is. Again, not to take nothing away from the single mothers or the mom's influence, but I mean, just that story right there just kind of show you how important like the male influence is.
Oh, yeah.
And that's whether that be positive or negative, because obviously it can be negative.
Yeah.
And I know earlier you had mentioned you had asked Don about whether his father was in the picture or not, and then earlier on the Rise and Grind Morning Show, I was talking about how I was one of the few people in my neighborhood who actually had a mom and dad in the in the household. But this was one of those old school households where the old man worked 1,000 fucking hours a week. So like he provided everything, but shit, he might as well not been there because like the nigga always
Right.
at work.
Right there.
So I want to shout my dog out, Coke. He was a dude in my neighborhood and shit, but like he was one of them people who was like everybody's big brother. And for some niggas who didn't have daddies, he was like their father figure. I think sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you can actually find some valuable resources in the street. I know that's
No,
hard
that's
for
real.
No, not
that's hard for a lot of
That's
people.
facts, right?
You gonna
there.
learn something.
That's
Whether it
facts
be
right
good
there.
or see, listen.
Right.
Here's the truth about life.
Yeah.
You gonna learn something, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah,
but
you gonna
you
get
gonna
something.
damn it learn something. Because for me, it might not have been that I was seeking out a father figure, but I definitely got a lot of cats from the hood that I would consider a bigger brother. You understand what I'm saying? They was
Absolutely.
older than me.
Right.
They was the cats that was unfortunately giving, passing
Yeah.
down bad habits and shit about
Yeah.
sex and all
Right.
kind
Right.
of dumb shit.
Yeah.
What you ain't did what? Man, you better go ahead and do this. You know what I'm saying? My parents never had that birds in the listen.
Right. If not, wear a bread bag.
It was lit. Yeah.
Wash
You
it
hear
off
me?
with bleach.
It was literally no. Or Vaseline. That's a protective substance. This is bro. Speaking of that, Miles, you said what's the dumbest
You never heard
shit that you never said to your kid? Fuck that. What's the dumbest shit you done heard from hanging out in the streets and letting the streets raise you? And I'm gonna say this: I was younger, scared to have sex. my first little time, and I'm hanging with these dudes. They all older than me, and they had these chicks. They had these chicks, and dudes say, "Oh, Doug ain't got no condom. Just give that Vaseline. Hand him that. He'll be all right." What the fuck? Like, dude, I could have got somebody pregnant. Yeah, what the fuck?
Just throw the Vaseline on, cuz.
Yes.
You can use a hot dog bag. Listen. Okay, shout out to Medina for this drink. Medina, can you just tell us what is this drink? You can use Dime-Mike or whatever you want to do. What is this drink called? Because it's great.
I think you should slide over here, Medina. Let the, because it do taste good. I brought my healthy shit.
He ain't drink none.
I brought my ginger and turmeric.
Right.
But I'm over here sipping on.
Use Dime-Mike.
Right here.
Use Dime-Mike.
She trying to get on the camera. We need you to get in the microphone.
We need to get on the
It's
microphone.
called, this is
them
my
heels
twist
on there.
too, the French Connection.
If she
Come a little closer. Come a little
She
closer.
say get them heels on. If she get them heels on that camera, shit, we gotta cut this shit off.
This
Put
is
one on the table.
This is
Standing
my
straight up.
my twist to the French Connection. So the French Connection is cognac and amaretto. Some people use Grand Marnier. I like to use amaretto. And then I
That's that
use
cherries I taste.
some espresso
I was
martini
gonna say, yeah, it
mix.
tastes like coffee. Yeah.
Yeah, espresso martini mix.
That's great.
Little ice, little orange. Squeeze a
Nicole
little
eyes
orange in
a
there.
little slanted too while you playing. I mean, not
That sneaky
Nicole.
shit.
She not drinking.
Right, she ain't.
Twist of
Hey, look, she ain't
orange,
here.
ice.
We're having water.
French Connection
Right.
Express.
Okay, that's great.
I'm having all that.
And this is really good too, by the way. This is really tasty.
Right.
I'm not even a coffee drinker and all that other kind of shit, but you know.
So, if I can say something real quick,
Of course you can.
Why, certainly.
Certainly.
we really need everyone to listen to this, okay? Because the child that you have sitting next to you, one day is going to end up with someone.
Right.
They're going to end up with someone. Take out the time, correct the mistakes. You were in a hurtful place when you gave that advice. Now that you no longer, go back and make it right. You said some foolish stuff because you had no idea, because maybe your mom or your grandma, your dad or granddad said it, and at one point you realized it was some foolishness.
Yeah.
Go back and make it right,
Yeah.
because that child is going to end up with someone.
Right.
Right?
And they can hurt somebody too.
Yeah, man. Hurt people,
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
You know what else I don't think people realize how in tune with their own emotions that children are
Picking up on.
at such a young
Yeah.
age too.
Wow.
Like they pick up, they understand, they know when people are saying things that are offensive to them. You know, like you can call a baby ugly or something, you can see their expression change or whatever. Like they're in tune with more than what I think adults think they are.
Yeah, and
I agree with you.
I agree. 'Cause my daughter go to a school with a lot of white people, and she hear me talk about white folks all the time. She said, Dad, I got white friends. I don't want to say so, but I don't. I was like,
Crack
well,
ass crackers.
but she's very in tune with emotions, and I like to say when I was going through my COVID thing, my daughter, she very seldom called me unless she wants something. Anyway, like the average child do. But she called me like that. I don't want you to die. She said, I need for you. She's like, I don't want you to die. Yeah. And I was like, damn, she that much in tune with that?
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And you'd be surprised.
I also think I just want to add to what you said, Miles. And I've said this before. When we talk, most of the time, people, yes, they hear audible dialogue between two people. But the truth of the matter is, as beings, we actually speak through frequency. Mm-hmm. And you don't have, and here's the thing, because we are spirit beings, we can't tell what another spirit is picking up in terms of the frequency.
Ooh, very true.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's to
that.
me the reason why sometimes, on the flip side of what you just said, you have bitter parents. I don't want to say male or female, it don't matter, but you can have a bitter parent passing down shit to their child and not even realizing it, but it's the frequency, and that child can pick up on that frequency. Hey,
absolutely.
They know when you talking to the other parent, and you ain't even said their name.
Right.
They can just tell. You
Exactly.
understand what I'm saying? Oh, he or she must be talking to such and such. So I say that to say that that's very, very important and something to be mindful of. Like, you know, as we go through our life, if you have children, make sure that you bring that into your consciousness, bring that into your awareness that at the end of the day, we're beings of frequency and energy, and you could have some stank on your ass or be bitter or have this fucked up ass mindset,
Right.
and you pass that frequency to your child, and they pick up on that, and sometimes that could taint the image of that person that they care and they love. You understand what I'm saying? You got to be careful of that kind of shit.
No, Don, I agree with you 100% because frequency, that's deep.
It is.
Like your child may recognize the disrespectful tone you use towards males. And like I said, don't even have to be in the room, be like she talking to a man, right? So that's that generational mindset. So they grow up with it. And then somebody end up with that man or that woman, like, who raised you? Where'd you get
Where that
this?
shit come from,
Man,
right?
you just straight disrespectful.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So somewhere along the way, they listen to mom, grandma, talk to dad that way or granddad that way, and they just, that's that frequency. That's deep. I don't have to use that one.
Frequency,
but
yeah, for sure.
right, and you can always tell. You know, if they're in the next room, it could be taking care of business. Be like, oh, mom taking care of business.
Right.
You know, mom put on that other voice. Right.
Right.
That frequency.
Right.
That's deep.
And it's really deep. It's a movie on Netflix, right? And it was it was a movie that was like in, I think, in 2019. You might be familiar with it. It was a black guy in it, and they was like they came up with a cryptocurrency thing. Did any of y'all see that?
Startup business.
Startup. There you go. It was called Startup.
I saw the preview. I didn't watch it.
It's dope.
That's a current movie?
It's an older. It was too.
Well promoted, I guess.
Right, it wasn't well promoted, but it's a very
Startup.
Startup.
Okay.
It's a very good movie, but in the movie they got the black guy because they thought the black guy was a gang. He was in a gang, and he was trying to talk to his gang members to get involved with cryptocurrency.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah.
Right, but his son was far from being a gangster. His son was a punk. You know what I mean? He got bullied a lot, but his gang member friends were trying to kill him because he was in leadership position. Right.
Yeah.
And they called his son like, since you fucked up, you got to kill your daddy.
Damn.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No, I ain't telling the whole story.
And she like, all right, nigga.
I'm gonna have to watch this though.
Because-
But how this tie into the crypto?
Hold on. This is
Why you trying to figure out exactly what happened?
Well, because the gang had
Clean their money.
the gang had how to clean their money.
Gotcha.
And then
have a
why you telling that damn movie?
Yeah. Okay. She telling me about money laundering. I don't know nothing about that. But
I got to holler at her.
Hey, look, but what happened was, in the midst of them handing him the gun, he killed the two guys that was wanting him to kill his daddy.
Wow.
Yeah,
So, but the way his father raised him was, whatever you need to take care of, you take care of it immediately, right? And then when he came home, he told his dad he killed him. So he said, "Oh, they're on their way to come get us." You know what I mean? He instantly grabbed AK-47, gave it to his son, like, here, cocked it back. He said, "If anybody walk through that door, start shooting." Right? But he was preparing his son for what was
fell
to
asleep
come.
on him, Medina.
Right. She fell
Okay,
asleep on that
Miles.
part.
Yeah.
He was preparing the son
That was
for
a French Connect.
for what's to come.
What's to come? Yeah, absolutely.
Right. You feel me?
And a lot of times that's our problem. We don't prepare our children for what's to come. We be so worried about where they at. I think that's a lot of black people problems. We worry about like where we at the moment, and we don't prepare for the future.
Surviving instead of living. You know
Yeah,
how that
exactly.
goes.
We in survival mode
For sure.
all the time.
For sure.
And then when you're in survival mode all the time, you don't look at the other stuff that children need to embrace. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean?
Yeah, I
Listen,
agree with you.
survival mode is the equivalent to fight or flight mode.
Yes.
I used to when I used to go to the high schools and talk to the young men, I would say, listen, there are two S's that will separate you in your life. When I was brought up, same thing, Miles. It was the survival mode, but had somebody taught me about a success mindset, I wouldn't
Yes.
even been thinking about
Survival.
survival. All right, because here's the deal. The big difference between the two, because you're going to have some people that tell you, yes, but you got to know how to survive. I understand that. But understand at its truest essence, having the mindset of survival is having the mindset that starts from lack.
Yes.
All right.
There you
Having
go.
the mindset of success is the mindset of abundance. They two totally different things.
Yes.
So for sure.
You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So when you focused on success, you're focused on bringing and attracting abundance into your life. And when you focused on survival, and that was one of the things that kind of hindered me when I wanted to go into entrepreneurship. Because I had a survival mindset, it always was, shit, I need to save. I don't want to put this money out over here because I might not do this.
Right.
You can't get into business and have a successful
Survive.
business if you're always thinking about surviving in
Survival.
business
Right.
as opposed to thriving and being successful in business.
I think we need to substitute surviving with thriving.
Yeah.
Because most people don't understand that. Like I tell
No, they
people,
don't.
people ask me all the time, man, how you do this? I said, well, I'm gonna put it like this, nigga. When I want something, I would not pull out $2,000 and buy it. Like if I want an Apple computer, I would buy Apple gift cards. You know what I mean? Email the Apple gift cards, $50, $100, $200, $50, $75, right? And then shit. Once I look, I was like, oh shit, I got $950. I could buy this computer. You know what I mean? And because my mindset is pushing forward and always planning ahead. If a person think I'm just thinking about today, they're a damn fool. I'm thinking about steps way far ahead than just the right now.
You know what? I agree. And when I think about survival mode, it's people in the moment. They're just living for the moment, right? So they make bad decisions because they're just in the moment, not looking at how their actions going to affect them later on down the line. They don't even care about later on the line. It's just like right now.
Yeah, the moment.
But now, right? Really, survival is just for the moment.
I agree. I'd say fuck the moment, be monumental.
Yes.
In the spelling there.
Damn near.
Fuck the moment, be monumental because I mean, even the steps that we making right now with podcasting and WGOD, people had no idea what was in my brain and what I was thinking, and then only because some people only want to live in a box. I'm like, why we gotta live in one box when we can have a whole bunch of boxes? You know what I mean? Like for real.
We can make a clubhouse out of the boxes.
Yes. I mean, right now they're
No, I was
making
just talking shit. I feel what you're saying.
they're making hotels out of cargo shipment cans.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen
Facts.
those.
True.
You know what I mean?
I've seen
So
They making hotels out of 3D printers now because nowadays we can print buildings.
Print buildings,
And I'm
yeah.
not talking about out of cardboard. I'm talking about print with actual sustainable material, concrete.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm
that's it.
saying? That kind of stuff, man. This world is changing.
Yeah, they put them houses
and that's
together
why
like
I say-
Legos.
Right, but that's why
I say that shit. Yeah.
That's why I say
seen
I
that.
don't
That's
know
sweet, though.
shit. I just understand a lot because when a person, I know people. I've been doing this for 20 years, but then you get one of these young people just hit 2 or 3 buttons like doop doop, and be like, it's done. Yeah, because you don't have to do the shit you used to do 20
Exactly.
years ago.
Absolutely.
And you have to be
Changed.
open-minded, man, enough to. And with our children know a lot of shit.
Yes, they do.
They do.
I agree.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? And you got to give them some time to. My daughter showed me a video she made with no words, but she told the whole story.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, "Oh, here you can have that laptop. I mean, go ahead, do what you
Right.
want to do
Yeah,
with
yeah.
it. Go ahead with the iPad.
She
Do
on
whatever
some
you're
shit.
doing." I said, as long as you editing or doing something productive, you can have anything you want.
Yeah.
The minute you get into just doing bullshit on it, give it to me. Give it back.
Right.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Sure.
So, question.
Going
around the table.
Let him start. Let him
So,
start.
what did you pull out of this, and what part of this show would you be able to share with someone?
I think pretty much something the same thing I was thinking about earlier, before we even did the show, and just from hearing what everybody was saying, it's just about it's the whole theme of accountability. I know we talk about this shit a whole lot, but at some point, as a parent and as a child, there is some accountability there. You can't blame each other for everything. I think that a lot of I don't know. I guess it's safe to say. I'm gonna go ahead and say it anyway. So fuck it. I think that a lot of these kids and shit, or a lot of these kids who turn into like fucked up adults, would have been better off if some of these parents had been more accountable. I think it's safe to say that. I think it's safe to say that if like for instance, like I use my own personal example. I think at no point has my father ever actually had a conversation with me and said like, damn, you know what, son, I wish I'd have been able to spend more time with you. Like I did do everything that my father did because his father was the same way, just a provider. That's it. Like it's like it wasn't no like a real father son relationship. We got a dynamic, just great relationship now.
Right.
That I'm an adult, but as a kid though, I see dads like in our generation. We actually are hands on with our kids.
Yes.
Like so, like they are actually in their kid's life being a father and not just a provider. So I look at that sometimes like, damn, I missed out on that shit.
What'd you say, Medina?
Everybody's going half now.
Yeah.
But
Not everybody.
Motherfucking body, but
I don't know what to tell you. I can't help you.
but
You got something else.
But Q, I do agree with that. But I'm gonna ask Don and motherfucking
Chef.
But do we spend more time with our kids? Because we love them, but do we spend more time because we also are fearful with what we understand can happen to them?
If you're not there,
If we're not there,
I agree. I think I enjoy spending time with my kids, but for the fear of what can happen, just with my experience with being with people, how they could turn out if you don't invest that time.
Yeah.
If you don't put that balance there, I've had several examples on how they can turn out. And I was just telling my daughter the other day, I said, people come into your life for one or two reasons, to show you how to be or how not to be. Mm-hmm. And I said, pay attention. Pay attention because you can learn something from both of them. So probably out of the fear of how things could be, if you don't put that balance there, the things that you've learned and set yourself to the side, your pride and everything else. And like you were saying, just have accountability at that point. Mm-hmm. So, yeah,
I think
on a point of what could be.
Yeah, I definitely I love my daughter. I love spending time with her, but I also want her with me because she's protected. You feel me?
Yeah, I agree.
Because when she's with me, she's protected. I put like this is the funniest shit ever. Her mother was talking shit about me, right? I said, but you don't understand. My daughter loves me for real. So we was walking in the grocery market, right? And she was holding her hand, right? Mm-hmm. And then she seen somebody coming her way. She let her mama hand go and came and grabbed mine. Like she know that daddy gonna be, you know what I mean?
Represent.
And she knew it. She threw her mama hand out like and she backed up and grabbed my hand and was looking at him like you know what I mean? But see, I understand. So, and for a father-daughter relationship, when you have that relationship with your daughter, it brings you something different because the daughter gonna ask you different questions than the boy do.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to answer the question too, though. I do think about it on the opposite end of the spectrum, but I think we both saying the same thing, just saying it kind of two different ways. But I just want to be concise with my words because, again, I feel like I learned a long time ago that we can live our lives, but we tend to make decisions either based out of a place of love or based out of a place of fear. And so I spend a lot of time, with my children, not out of fear, but out of love and out of everything that they can be. Mm-hmm. And that's important to me because I feel like no one taught me when I was younger about infinite possibilities in this lifetime. So for me, I get excited about all the things that they can be in this lifetime. Yeah. I already have spent a large amount of my life, making decisions based out of fear.
Fear, right.
So to be honest with you, I don't want them to have that. I honestly want them to be fucking fearless, and the only way that I'm gonna have them be fearless is if I approach shit with them fearless. Give an example, my daughter, my oldest, she wanted to do gymnastics her senior year in high school. Wooter is fucking 5'11". All right, I never seen my daughter do a fucking flip ever. Okay, now listen to me. All right, she comes to me senior year and says, "I want to do gymnastics." You ready? I'm not gonna lie. I was fearful. I said, "You gonna break your fucking neck." That's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm like, I ain't never seen you do a fucking cartwheel. You get what I'm saying? But for whatever reason, she said, "Dad, this is what I want to do." All right. So I had to stand by what I just said.
Right.
Don, okay, was like, "Oh shit,
Right.
she can break her fucking neck, ankle. Her mama gonna fucking kill me, whatever." And I'll never forget when I signed that waiver. My hand was shaking. Yeah. It was one of the first times because I hear some moms say, "I don't want to let my son play football." I'm like, "Fuck that, let him play." You know what I'm saying? Because I played, but I never thought that I would be in that same position with a girl. Okay, with my daughter until she said, and I'm like, "Well, what is it that you think you want to do?" "Oh, I want to do the vault." What the fuck, the vault or the beam? Right. All right, I'm like, "How the you don't know nothing about this shit?" For real, But listen. I meditated about it and I looked at her one day and I said, "Listen, I just got one request." I said, "If you start this shit,
you finish it.
Finish it." Don was scared. But Dad Don, that know I want to teach my child to be fucking fearless, was like, "Don't start this shit if you ain't gonna do it all the way." All right? Trembling inside. But I had to I wanted to say it like that to her because again, I want to instill in my children, be fucking fearless.
Don, I'm glad you said that because right now, if I asked my daughter, I said, "Who you gonna work for when you grow up?" She said, "Myself." Right? I said, "What can you do?" She'd say, "Anything." Because I tell her, if you're going to do something, do it. I don't care what your mama say, what I say. If this is what you love to do, or you have an interest in it,
fucking do it.
Just do it. Show me what you want to do it, and I'm gonna show you how I can help you and assist you to improve it.
Absolutely.
When it comes to me, because trust me, I was a super nerd. I was the nerd. I was the nerd they was calling black ass Miles. You know what I mean? To where they wouldn't bother. They wouldn't even, you don't need a drink. He'll be like this. You over here smiling for no damn reason. You don't know what the fuck going on.
You want some cheese on your burger?
I
got cheese.
I want cheese.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my shoe on it. Yeah, I like it meaty.
I want cheese. Yeah,
I want cheese on my shoe.
Yeah, I want cheese. But I teach my daughter to understand, like she's the best thing. Be the best thing you can be to yourself first, and then be the best thing you can be to other people. You feel me? If you're not helping or assisting other people to help, I mean to assist them with stuff. Like if you ask her, like right now, say help, she mean I can assist you. I don't know about help because I know right now when you deal with us, telling somebody, "Oh, I help you," they're like, "I don't need your help." But if you say assist, they're like, "Okay."
Is that a different connotation?
Hey, words are powerful.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. So I teach her how to communicate differently. Her mother be like, "Did you teach her something about God?" I'm like, I said, "God made her dark, beautiful, big lips, nappy hair for a reason. She have a purpose like everybody else."
Absolutely.
Really quick, I'm gonna say this. In school, her teacher called me like, "Naveen just fighting, right?" And then I was like, "Okay, well, she probably upset, and plus she." And then next thing you know, she said, "And by the way, you cannot tell her to talk about God." I said, "Got it."
So that's what it is.
I said, "No, what it is, tell your kids to quit fucking teasing my daughter about her being dark skinned or her nappy hair. Because when you talk about her hair or her skin, she be like, well, God made me this way."
Oh, so you said that's the only reason she started talking about
God.
That's
the only reason why she started talking about God.
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
So with that being said, I learned how to communicate with my daughter to not point fingers, but to just make people feel like, oh, okay. Maybe I shouldn't say that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because that's how I am right now. You can talk about me all you want to, but I'm gonna show you a way how to change that shit up real quick.
Just tell Lyric to just show them how much you like it. Somebody call you black, tell them I love my dark black.
There you go.
And they don't have anything on
it. Can't feed off of it.
Like speaking of that,
short. I love being short.
Speaking of that shit, that's why the fuck I say fuck Fifi. That's the reason why I say fuck Fifi, because you can tell Fifi like, "Oh, you big hands." She's like, "Yeah, and I love it too."
For sure.
Listen. Ain't nothing more powerful then being that we talk about passing down generational wealth, let's talk about that wealth is not always represent something that's monetary. Yeah, passing down some generational wealth means understanding who you are as an individual and having a positive self-image of who you are, respecting your family's bloodline and all those that was before you. That's some generational wealth.
That's a whole
That's a wealth for your ass
that's a whole
right there.
other story. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, we can talk about that next week if it's okay with motherfucking Chef. We can talk
Now,
about
now
that.
I'm
sound like
about
a
to
whole-
wrap up the show because you always say, I'm going to say this real quick.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no. I'm
That
talking
sound like
about
the
what
whole
you
topic,
said.
though.
No, but
Shut your ass up, man.
I enjoyed the topic tonight. Dang, we're not finished with it. But
I'm just happy to be back.
He's not just happy, man. I want some cheese, shrimp
I know
bread.
okay,
Yeah,
I'm cooking
that's
next week.
Okay.
But leaving out of here tonight, a couple words come to mind, and Q said one of them, accountability.
Yes.
I'm gonna say integrity.
Yes.
And Don said to be fearless,
Fearless.
right? You said you asked your daughter a question. She said, "I can do anything."
Anything, yeah.
Right. So if we must teach our children something, take one of these words and teach it,
Yeah.
right? Because this is sustainable. Not teaching about just making money.
Oh.
Just because income comes and it goes in your bank account.
Right, called income.
Income, right? So it got to go out.
Yes.
So, just take this away, parents, because someone ends up with that little person sitting next to you. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm about to do this.
Hey, nigga, that's $70 right there.
I picked that shit up.
Hey, Don, tell me where they can find you at real quick.
Don_Snipes, nothing fancy, just Don_Snipes on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff.
And you gotta change your handle, Chef, to motherfucking Chef.
I was
Chef,
about to change it right now.
Q, where can they find you at?
Find me on IG, man, Q.Lewis313. And every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at eblockradio.com for the Wake and Bake Show. My nigga Monk Money, my nigga Angry Man,
Angry Man.
4205. Every Tuesday and Thursday on podcasting on the Rise and Grind Morning Show. And then, of course, tonight on Tuesdays on the motherfucking Girth.
So if anybody, grandma got the kids up trying to take their punk ass to sleep, Medina, where can they find you at, sweetie?
They can find me on, I got so many handles. So they can find me on Instagram.
Not from this view, you don't.
Boy, that boy drinks his cut off.
Go ahead, Medina.
Mogo_N_stilettos.
Mogo and
Stilettos.
Stilettos.
Mogo and stilettos with mud on it. With mud on it.
I like the mud.
Right. What's the name? What's the
I
name?
could just get a little dirty with it if I had to.
Right. What's the name of your business?
Funky Cold. Oh, it's everything Funky Cold, baby. It's Funky Cold World.
Funky Cold World.
FunkyColdWorld.com. You can find everything I do.
All right. So, y'all, of course, Tuesdays is one of my favorite motherfucking days. We didn't get to the pink part, but we got to the girth. So, ladies, if you like girth, it make it worthwhile. You know what? We might do size really matter, ladies, for y'all. We gonna invite some ladies on board, y'all. Fellas, y'all ready? Y'all
Ready for that one?
I'm with it.
Let's
do it.
Yeah.
It's a big table.
Yeah,
It is.
Wide, too.
It's a big table. It's a girthy table.
It got some girth on it.
Pause.
Right.
I know
Is
Don
it-
be like, look, don't say girth.
Hey.
All his new members.
Hey.
His members.
Oh, wow, damn. Okay, so women with stretch marks, on your
Hello,
cheeks, so you
Cecile.
cannot come in. Medina, you are stuck outside the door. All right, so listen, hey y'all, check us out next Tuesday. We're gonna have fun again, and we're gonna say fuck y'all too.
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. Tomorrow
for
night,
sure.
Comfort Zone, Fifi's party.
CJ Bug.
Surprise me with something.
Yeah.
DJ L Book is definitely gonna be on the one too.
Oh, you want to?
My
Oh,
Okay. Her plans is to get there. So
God willing.
until next Tuesday, See you. Oh, July, the first week of July, we be in Podcastic 2 Studios right now. We filming this from WGOD Studios. Until next time, shout out to Nikki Nance, goddamn, for engineering the motherfucking show.
Oh, that's my girl. Glossy, we calling her Glossy today.
Glossy
lips.
Them lips.
Them
Those lips.
She sashayed her ass through the door, though. Y'all should have seen her when she was walking in the parking lot. She was like
She
this.
did have a hand out there.
One hand just walking. I guess I was keeping her
And even
hand.
after the drink, they still glossy though.
Look, and then I went to the
Hold
other
on,
baby.
Medina, what'd you say?
That's how you keep the balance.
Yeah, her ass is
was back.
her ass is here.
Ladies, this right.
All right, dog. We out. Till next time. Peace.